Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. It is such a pleasure being here with you today as we are on our learning journey, and that's where we are learning English. And I hope that you are doing well. You are having a fabulous time today, whether it's morning, noon, or night or evening. I hope that you are having a good one. So, guys, it's your turn to comment in the comment section. Let us know where you're from and let us know also how you're doing. You can also let us know if you are a beginner learner when it comes to learning English. This would be very good for us in terms of tailoring our instructions to suit your need. So go ahead in the comment section, get active, and please share that with us. We would want to learn that. Also, please note that we are doing um, English short story reading practice. And with our English short story reading practice, we are hoping that you'll be able to learn about the culture of using English. And so you would be able to use it effectively as you continue to practice in conversation or within written work that you'll be able to present it as best as you can. So thank you so much for joining us. It is such a pleasure having you here if you're here with us today. So w- tell us where you're from. We would appreciate hearing where you're from. Go ahead and tell us where you're from. Please note that this is very important for us as we conduct these sessions, so we'll be able to tailor the instructions to suit your need. So go ahead, tell us where you're viewing from. Go ahead, please, guys, get active in the comment section. Tell us where you're viewing from. Go ahead, guys. Let's see you active. Let me say a huge hello to one of our regular viewers, Sassy. If you're here with us, we appreciate you being here always. So we're saying hello to you because you are by far one of our most regular visitors. And so it is our pleasure to have you here with us always. So hence the reason we are saying hello to you, Sassy. Hello, hello, hello. And we hope that you are doing well today. You are doing phenomenal. Okay, Sassy, and that flower horn is also doing well. Please let us know if he continues to do well. We would also love to hear about that. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate your patience and we look forward to this session with you today as we continue our reading journey. That's where we learn to read English as a second language. All right, guys. So go ahead, get active in our comment section. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you guys. Come on, guys. Tell us more about where you're from. And today's short story, it includes two persons from two different worlds. So our short story is all about Z and Lisa, and they are from two complete different places. So one is from the Western culture and one is from the Eastern culture. So here we can see that they are completely opposite. And we know if we look at our compass, this being opposite would mean that their traditions, their customs, their beliefs, and all these things that they are totally opposite to one another. Okay, which means they're going to be very much different. And I am from the Western culture. What about you? Which culture are you from? Are you from the Eastern culture or are you from the Southern culture? Or are you from the Northern culture? Go ahead and get active in our comment section and let us know which culture you're from, whether you're from the Western, the Eastern, the Northern, or Southern culture. That is something that would help us in understanding this story about two persons who are from completely different way of lives. All right, so go ahead, guys, get active. Also, if you have not liked the video, we would appreciate you liking the video and, if possible, for you to share it out with others who are interested in learning how to read English. Because here we practice phonemic awareness. That's where we practice a lot of phonetical skills. And so we would be able to decode any word once we have learned these skills. All right, because these skills would definitely help us to spot words and to spot parts of the word. And in this way, we are able to decode these words or to attack these words or to break them down. So, guys, go ahead, get active in the comment section. And now we are going to begin without further ado. English short stories are very good ways of learning English. So, as much as you can, please go ahead, guys, and try to get more materials that are short stories in English so that they can help you to build your vocabulary, your pronunciation. They can also help you to spot the practical way of speaking English. And if you're able to speak English in a practical way, it means that you would sound very close to a native or very much like a native. You sound very natural. All right, so we are going to look at words here that we do not know. Guys, I want you to get active. I want you to type in the comment section words on the screen that you do not know because I may skip over some of the words or pass them by or omit them, with having the idea that you know those words because they are easy words, but there might be some that you do not know despite that they are easy. So please get active in the comments and I want you to share. Okay? Share words that you are not familiar with. Despite the words may look easy, let me know if you're familiar with them or not. All right. Okay. So let's get active now. Let's get to it. One of the words we're going to take a look at is the word parents. Parents. So in this word, the P makes the sound P. The AR makes the sound air. ARE, like in the word care. And then we hear ents. Ents. All right. So we hear P, air. This E, it also go back to make that E sound. So we hear E and Ns. So we hear parents. We have S, parents. Parents. Who are parents? Parents are basically those persons who are in charge of you, those persons who were responsible for making you in terms of getting involved in that process where they come together to reproduce. And so these are the persons that we would call our parents, our mother, our father. Those are our parents. However, parents can also not be biological. Biological is when they were the ones that were responsible for going through that reproductive process to create you. And in other ways, we can have parents, as in those who may adopt children. So they adopt these children and they become the mother or the father of the children. And there are other types of parents, like you may have surrogate parents. Those are mothers who are willing to carry the child for someone who may not be able to have children. And that person who is not able to have children, you would call them barren, right? So someone may want to do them that favor. You call that person a surrogate mother. We also have foster parents. These are people who would take up the role of parenting for children who are without parents. And a lot of the times you have foster parents. These are persons who would go through the system in terms of the government would be the ones to get these parents to take care of children who were abandoned or children who do not have parents because their parents may have gone to jail or otherwise their parents is not there for them. You would call them parents. So that's a lot on parents, but I hope that it did give you some insights as to what parents is. Our next word is N, K, O, ow, and then we hear age, this small word. The A makes a sound, the E at the end is silent. The G, because it comes before E, it makes a sound like J. So we hear N, K, ow, and cow, and we hear age, encourage, encourage. Here we'll put rage together to make that sound. So we have rage as a word. And you know what rage mean. Do you know what rage mean as a word by itself? When you say that somebody has rage. So that is an actual real word in English. When somebody is filled with rage, it means that that person is actually a violent person, one who is not able to control themselves when they are angry. And so you can say that that person has a high temper. That's another way that you can say that that person has rage or that person is filled with rage. All right. So our word here is NK-OW, encounter, and then we have age. So the OU in this one is actually saying O. Sorry, ow. So we hear NK-OW, encounter, and rage, encourage. So what does it mean to encourage someone? Now we are going to add the ED sound because we can hear the J sound at the end. The ED sound would be D. So we'll say encouraged, encouraged, encouraged. All right. What does the word encourage means? When you encourage someone to do something, you can simply say that a lot of persons are being encouraged daily. And for you to be encouraged, it means that you basically is given some sort of support or you have some sort of confidence that is built up because of someone else, right? So, because of something, right? So, we'll say that you were motivated or that you were inspired, or we can say that you were uplifted when you are encouraged. So, have you encouraged someone lately? Have you encouraged someone lately? And what did you encourage them about? What did you encourage them about? And remember, when you encourage someone, it makes the person more likely to do whatever it is that you have encouraged them about. because here you are giving them that support, you're giving them that confidence, like boosting their confidence and all that. And when you do that, then it would make that person most likely want to do whatever it is that you are pushing them towards or telling them to do. So, how have you encouraged someone lately? What did you do? What did you say to them to encourage them? So, one of the ways that I would have encouraged someone lately is to really motivate that person by giving them a lot of positive words surrounding their job and also surrounding possible jobs or possible opportunities that they can take up. So that person is currently working to get a new job that is high paying, and I'm praying for that effort to come forth, that they would be able to get that job. So how have you encouraged someone lately? What did you say to them, or what did you do for them? All right, let's continue. Our next word, sp. The E makes the sound E, a long song, and the A is silent. Then we hear the K sound. So the word is sp, E, K, speak. What does it mean to speak? When you speak, what does that mean? Well, this is a very easy one. When you speak, you're actually talking, right? You're actually chatting, or we can say you're gabbing. Gabbing is a very powerful one that a lot of persons may use. It's formal, however, a lot of persons may think that it is informal because of the way it sounds. But chatting, talking, and gabbing, those are ways that we can say that you speak. And next word that we are going to take a look at is this word The I makes a long sound, so we hear I and nd. So we hear and mind. One of the things when you are spelling the word mind, always remember that this word it rhymes with words like kind and hind and all those words. So you'll remember that it's just I by itself making that long I sound. All right. So what is your mind? What is your mind? And I know we love to talk about using your mind on a daily basis. So your mind is actually your brain, it's actually your intellect, right? Your mind is that power of reasoning that was given to us by the Creator God. That is our mind. That power, that ability to reason or to understand or to sense things, that whole mentality, that's what we'll call our mind. So in this, we are able to be aware of things within our world, and we are also able to experience them. And with this, we can think, we can feel, we can just be at a conscious state where our thoughts would be flowing concerning anything around us. So, all that would include your mind. Our next word that we are going to take a look at is this word. And this word, we hear the D and E together, making the song D. The C comes before I, makes a song like S. So we hear S. So we hear D, E, D, S. Then the short I sound A, the sage A. And then we hear sh. It's an 8 sound for the SI. Remember, we learned that it's an 8 sound for the SI yesterday in the word. We learned it in a word yesterday that SH sound is given to SI when it comes before on. So in this combination, that is a common suffix or common ending for a lot of English words. we'd hear the S8 sound for the S and I together. So here our word is D, S, A, and sh, on. So we have decision and on. Decision. We have S because we are going to change the form of the verb, or when we are going to make the noun more than one. In this case, we are making the noun more than one, that naming word more than one. So hence we have S. So here we have decisions, and we hear the sound at the end for the S. Decisions. What are decisions? Have you ever made a decision before? And what was that decision like for you to make? Was it a hard decision for you to make? Did it take a lot of guts out of you to make that decision? I know we English speakers, we love to talk about decisions, taking a lot of our guts for us to make it, like especially in hard decisions where we have to more or less bite the bullet. Those type of decisions we would normally talk about. We have to actually like it takes everything out of you. When I say it takes the gut out of you, it's saying like basically it takes everything out of you to make that decision because it was so hard. All right. So what is a decision? A decision is actually where you come to a conclusion, or where you're able to reach some sort of resolution after considering something. So after you've thought about this thing and really process this thing within your mind, you would be able to make a choice concerning this thing. And that is what we would call a decision. And normally, in the case of making a decision, you would have several possibilities, right? And this is the scary part of it. When you have so many possibilities, it is so difficult to make a decision, as in, it's so hard to choose one or to make a choice. Have you experienced situations like that before, where you had to make a decision and it was really hard because there were several possibilities? There were so many, several means many possibilities. And because of that, you had to be weighing the pros and the cons, which means the good and the bad about each possibility. And in doing so, it make the situation harder and harder and harder for you. If you can speak of a time like that, please comment in the comment section and share that with us. We love to hear. Go ahead, guys, comment and share. Our next word is this word p, then s, and u. The the ue together makes the sound u in this word. However, ue in a lot of other words can make the sound u. So you have to be very careful when you're using UE. But in this word, we hear U. So the U is the one making the sound, the E is silent. So always remember, when two vowels come together, first one can make the sound, second one stays silent, or second one can make the sound, first one stays silent. The song that the vowel would make would vary. Sometimes they can make a long sound, sometimes they can make a short sound. All right. So you have to really know the words to know what song they would make. Or you can use the tree cueing method. That's where you see if it sounds like a word that is in your vocabulary, if it sounds correct. And you can even research the word to see if it's a real word in English. All right, guys. So let's call the word pursue, 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 pursue. A lot of persons, when spelling, they may mix this word up or confuse this word with the word purse, as in a woman's handbag, that thing that she may put her money in. However, you have to remember that purse has that same silent E at the end, but there's no U. All right. So that's how you would be able to tell the difference between the two words. That's a clue there for you. Purse is without a U. Pursue, you can hear the U and you would know that the U is before the E. All right, so our word pursue, what does it mean to pursue? And I know that there might be something that you are currently pursuing at the moment. So a lot of us, we have life goals and there are things that we want to achieve. And because we want to achieve these things, we work at them. And working at them is what would allow us to pursue these things. So, in a sense, the word pursue would mean when you follow after something, or when you chase after something, or when you go after something, when you hunt after something, uh, when you, let's see some more words, when you run after something, you can say you pursue it, you're trying to pursue it too. When you follow it, you're trying to pursue it. And in this, we pursue someone. We can also pursue our goals in terms of things that we want to achieve in life. So, for example, you may want to earn a bachelor's or master's degree or some sort of higher education. And when you get enrolled to that university and you start working towards that, reading to achieve those, then you can say that you are pursuing your dream or pursuing your goal or you're pursuing your education. However, um, while you're doing it, you would say that you are pursuing. But once you have completed, you would say that you pursued. All right. Guys, let me know if you can hear that noise in our background. Can you hear that noise? I'm so sorry about that noise. That is actually a drill that is making a sound. All right. Our next word is drew. It follows the same. Guys, please let me know if you can hear that sound. It follows the word dream follows the same rule as in speak, where the E makes the sound and the A stays silent. So we hear dream. We now have S, we hear dreams. What is a dream? And some of you, you may have heard about daydream before, while you may have heard about dreams that people may have while sleeping. And dreams, they're actually like having a fantasy, or in some cases, you can have a nightmare. Uh, you can have a vision. These are actually thoughts or images or some sort of sensation that may happen in your mind while you are asleep, or in some cases, while you are awake. They can also happen. And so you would say it's a daydream if it happens during the day, and you would say it's a sleeping dream if it happens while you are sleeping. So um, remember that these are things that happen during sleep or while you're awake. And a lot of persons would say that dreams are actually a reflection of your waking life, as in things that you do on an everyday basis or your everyday thoughts, right? That can be disputed. I don't know if that's something that you want to agree with or not, but however, it can be disputed. All right, so let's keep going. Is there any questions that you may have, guys? Please type in the comment section. And I have not seen. All right, guys. I'm sorry about that noise. That's something that we didn't expect to occur while doing the live. So, my apologies for that noise. If it persists, which means if it continues, then I may have to end the live a bit early so that it doesn't bother you. Our next word is the word eh. The A is silent. And here you can hear the E making a short sound as opposed to in the word speak, it made a long sound. And in the word dream, the E was making a long sound. So, hence the reason why it's so important for you to learn words, as in remembering these words, so that you can be on top when it comes to pronunciation and spelling because A can also make the sound eh. That's where the E makes the short sound. All right. And there's a lot of variation when it comes to EA. And I can do a live on different variations when it comes to EA if you guys are interested in that because EA can make several different sounds. It can say A, when R is added to it, it would say air. There are so many different pronunciations for E and A together. And I'm just going to do a quick view on this. So E and A in this word says like in the word and nt. So meant, it's the same pronunciation it makes there. But in the word speak and dream, we hear E. However, in the word hat, we see the E actually being silent and the AR makes the sound R. In a word like break, we're going to hear the A make a sound that says E, and the E is going to be silent. In other words, sometimes you can hear the E and the R making the sound instead of the A making the sound. So you would actually hear So let me give you an example. For example, in the word heard, and guys, this is very different to what you're accustomed to. In the word heard, the A would be silent, and you would hear the E and R joining together to say So heard. And in a word like hear, as in when you hear with your ear, you would see the EAR coming together to say air. So always be very careful with EA. EA is one of the combinations that is very irregular in terms of its pronunciation. It is not stable. In different words, it appears so differently in terms of its pronunciation. So be aware of that. Practice a lot of words with E and A so that eventually you'll be able to master those words and you will not have to face any problems with E and A words. All right, so do that. That's one of my encouragement to you, all English learners. I want you to pay close attention to that. I really want you to evolve, and in evolving, you can only do so, you can only grow if you are practicing. Everything comes with practice. And to learn English, you have to practice. To improve English, you have to practice. To reach to a stage of sounding like a native speaker, you have to practice. It's all about practice, practice, practice. It's a hard one sometimes, but it's just what it is. Okay. And I'm not going to try to make it sound otherwise, but to remind you that it can be very difficult. It can be very difficult. All right, so our word here is the word e. Remember the e is making a short sound. E, nt. The a is silent. Ent, meant. What does it mean when you say you didn't meant something for something to happen. Meant is actually the past tense for the word mean, right? So when we use that word, we are actually saying that, and we don't mean mean as in somebody that is unkind, somebody that is not mindful. We don't mean it in that way, okay? But instead, we mean as a like an intent to do something, right? When you have this intention. So the word meant is the past participle form of the word mean. So when you mean something or when you meant something, it would mean that you intended to do that thing or you intended for that particular thing to happen. And this is used often when something has failed to be or to exist. You would use this particular word. So in a case of failure, you would find that word being used often. It just simply means um, that was not the purpose or the intention of whatever it is. Okay, our next word we have st and stand. We can see the small word and in that word, and then we have a ng ing. Ing makes the song ing. So we have standing, standing, and standing is something that we do day to day. Once you are awake and up and you have that ability, most of us would go in that position where we are able to stay upright. And when we stay upright, we would say on our feet, we would say that we are standing. Okay, our final word that we're going to look at in this set of words is the word crowd. So the OW in this word says ow, but in a lot of English words, OW can also say O. So you have to look out for those words where it say O, like in the word slow, you hear O. However, in a lot of words where it is at the middle of the word, with these they depend on the position. Most times when it's at the end, it would say O. However, when it's at the middle of words, you find that it would say ow. So that's how you can know the difference in their um, pronunciation to use for the sound. So our word here is crowd. And you may have stood, sorry, in a crowd before, one time or the other in your life. I'm sure you would have been in a crowd. And what does it mean to be in a crowd? To be in a crowd simply means that you are among a large number of people that are gathered together. And normally a crowd can be very unorganized. And because it's not organized, it can be very unruly, you know? So, in cases where you have people protesting, they would have a crowd. In our English, native speakers would say that they would draw a crowd, which means that they would bring together a large number of persons, right? And if you happen to be in one of those crowds when they're protesting, sometimes these crowds they can get to that point where they are unruly because there is no set structure or rules that are given to those persons when they come together. And maybe because of feelings or emotions based on whatever they are protesting about, they can become very unruly because they can be filled with anger. And so there are persons in the crowd who may just act with rage. And sometimes this is not something that you're expecting, but it does happen. So it's something that you should always be mindful of when you come across a crowd. And a lot of us, we do not want to walk, in crowds because of the fact, or among the crowd because of the potential danger that can happen while walking amongst the crowd. Sometimes it can be like a stampede where they can be pushing, and because of all the pushing, persons can fall and they can damage themselves. Anything can happen. It can be something that persons are throwing across the crowd, and that thing can hit you in a place where it would actually cause your flesh to peel away, or it can sink into your body. And this can cause you to bleed, it can cause you to get knocked out. There's so many things that can happen in a crowd, potential danger. And that's one of the things that you should be mindful of, and try your best not to uh, walk among crowds, especially when you are not sure about the crowd, where the crowd came from, or the reason or the purpose for the crowd. All right. So, guys, you're doing very well. Let's keep going. Is there any word there that I have not touched that you would want me to do the pronunciation for? Because uh, remember, I said there are some words that I may just not pronounce because I may say, I expect you to know those words. So, if there's a word there that you're not sure of the pronunciation and you want me to call that word, go ahead and type that word in the comments so I can see the word and be able to help you. In the meantime, we are going to be reading through our text now, so let's begin. Lisa's parents always encouraged her to speak her mind, make her own decisions, and pursue her dreams, even if it meant standing out from the crowd. We are going to take another read of this text. And in reading this text, I want you to really focus on the words that we have studied in depth, their pronunciation, their meanings, or their synonyms, or their vocabulary, so that you can really understand what the text is saying. Remember the words we have studied in depth: parents, encouraged, decisions, speak, mind, pursue, dreams, meant, standing, crowd. Remember the word mind. Uh, this can be pronounced as mine, uh, or as mind. The British, they would make sure that they use their d sound at the end of the words, while Americans would exempt, or they would neglect, or they would not use those t and d sound at the end of words. So be very careful with your pronunciation depending on which uh, English you're using. In my case, I'm using the British English, and so that's why you'll see my words are spelt differently. Okay, so let's go ahead now and let's begin. This time we are going to follow the blue line to read through our text. Lisa's parents always encouraged her to speak her mind, make her own decisions, and pursue her dreams, even if it meant standing out from the crowd. All right, let's take meaning, or let's make meaning of this. Thank you guys who have now joined. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Or if you have not liked the video, please give the video a thumbs up. We'll appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you being here. Get active in our comment section. If there's a part that you want me to reread, I would be able to reread it for you. This live is actually happening at this present moment. So it's like it's in real time. So It's not a pre-recorded live. So guys, get active with the live session. Comment in the comment section. And if there's anything that you want me to know or you want more practice on, please let me know. All right. So let's read it one more time. Then we are going to make meaning of it. Based on all the words that we have covered, their vocabulary, and all these things, we should be able to make meaning of this text. Okay, guys. Sorry for that. I thought they were completely done with that housework. However, it is not something that might be so popular. I'm sorry for the noise that it makes in your ears. Let's begin. Lisa's parents always encouraged her to speak her mind, make her own decisions, and pursue her dreams, even if it meant standing outside from the crowd. Let's now make meaning of this. So, here, what is this really saying to us? That Lisa, and remember, I told you in some English culture, this name can be pronounced as Lisa. And that's because the IS in the word is treated as is. Remember, when S comes before an E or an I, or after an E or an I or an A, it can make the song Z in English in some words. And so some persons may use the name as Lisa. However, the name is most common as Lisa in English. So we are using Lisa because that is the most popular pronunciation. You hear that one often. So let's begin. Lisa's parents always encouraged her to speak her mind. What does it mean for her parents to encourage her to speak her mind? So, therefore, her parents would every day say things to her to help her to speak her mind, or they, guys, I'm so sorry about that. But I'm just gonna continue from this part just to finish the live because I would want to finish this part rather than bring it back to um, a place where we do not want to have to go over that part. So here, her parents is actually supporting her or helping to boost her confidence. That's what it means to encourage her. Her parents, the persons who were involved in that process of reproduction in terms of her birth or in terms of coming together to conceive her, or persons who may have adopted her, persons who may are fostering her. That's where they are taking on that parental role for the government or for other institutions. They are the ones that are very instrumental in giving her the support and helping to boost her confidence by maybe speaking a lot of positive things to her when it comes to speaking her mind, when it comes to being very open and bold or very candid or frank, as we may say in English. So, those words, candid, frank, those words would definitely mean that you are speaking your mind. So, her parents, they would be the ones to really support her in this or to say positive things to her to help her to boost her confidence. And with this, she is able to every day practice those things. And as she practiced them, after a time, she definitely would master them and she would be very quick in responding when it comes to speaking her mind. So her thoughts would always be uh, looking for that opportunity where she's able to just be bold, be open, or to be candid or frank. Are you a person that speaks your mind? Are you a person that speaks your mind? Let us know in the comments. Oftentimes, a lot of us, we do not speak our mind, right? Sometimes there are things that we want to say, but we may not say it for varying reasons. And we can all understand that sometimes it goes along with our culture, why we may not say it because we know that it may cause persons to get uneasy or persons to get upset. And so there are some things that sometimes we may not say. However, especially like persons who are from a different culture where they don't believe in just speaking their mind like that because of maybe respect. It's not that it's something offensive to say, but because their culture believes so much in respect, even if they can say certain things to their parents, they would not say it. And that's because they see that authority that their parents have, and they respect that authority that their parents have. A lot of persons think that their parents would think that they want to take over the authority or that they want to assume the authority, right? And so they would not be so open and ready to talk. They would not be so brave, right? When you speak your mind, you have to be a brave person in order to speak your mind. Okay, so let's go to our comment section. Let's see if anybody have commented if they are persons who speak their mind. All right, so I see Norma C in our comments. Hi, Norma C. Good to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. And Norma C says, no problem, just carry on. Ah, thank you for that, Norma C. Thank you for being here. Tell us where you're from, Norma C. And let us know if you are a regular viewer or if you're here for the first time. We would love to know that, Norma C. Thank you so much. Namasi says, no problem, just carry on. Thank you, Namasi. We appreciate your comment. Namasi, can you speak of a time when you've been very open and brave to say what was on your mind? So, in that way, you'll say that you speak your mind. Have you ever been in a position like that? Please let us know if you have been in a position like that. We love to hear from you. And when you speak your mind or you're brave to speak your mind, very open to speak your mind, then this would be considered as you being frank or candid. So when you hear those words used in English, they mean the same as, being open to speak your mind when you are frank or candid. All right. So, guys, get active in the comments. We always love to hear from you. Remember, this production is at the moment and it is in real time. So you have that opportunity to improve, to grow, and you can really be interactive in the comment section. That's where you speak with us and we are able to share more with you. All right. So go ahead, guys. Comment. Thank you, Nomusi. We appreciate. So we're gonna read it one more time to make sure that you have the pronunciations intact, which means you're able to pronounce the words carefully. And after that, we are going to move on to the next section. So let's go ahead and read it one more time. Lisa's parents always encouraged her to speak her mind, make her own decisions, and pursue her dreams, even if it meant standing out from the crowd. And to move on to this other section, when you're able to speak your mind, you have that bravery and that open and willingness to say what exactly is on your mind. You are not so uh, held back because others may view you in a particular way. Then it means that you would be able to make your own decisions because in this way, you are brave enough to um, take whatever choice you feel would benefit your life better. And in that way, you'll be able to actually pursue those dreams, which means you're able to go after whatever your dream is, whatever your purpose is, whatever you envision of yourself. And in so doing, sometimes you would have to actually stand alone in these decisions because sometimes your family may not agree with you, your friends may not agree with you, your neighbors may not agree with you, and or your community of support may not agree with you. So in some of these decisions, it takes you all by yourself to make these decisions, and sometimes it takes you all by yourself to go through these decisions, as in to undertake whatever it is that surrounds these decisions. So, whether it is going to be something that is positive or negative, you would be the one that would face that challenge, or you would be the one that would face that benefit. And so, when making these decisions, you have to be sure that this is exactly what you want because you actually have to have something that can really keep you held or glued to whatever you're trying to pursue so that if there is a bad time, in a lot of things we're going to meet challenging or times when we would struggle, and we call them bad times. If there are bad times, then you can face through those bad times by yourself. And when you don't have anyone there with you, maybe your parents, they maybe have neglected you, which means they have forgotten you. They may not be the ones that you can reach out to when you have an issue because maybe they would have said to you, hey, this is not something that you should do. And you have that mindset that it's something that you really want to do because you have that courage, right? Then you have to always plan ways of dealing with possible negativity in whatever it is that you're doing. So, one of the things that I would always say to persons is to really research whatever it is that they want to pursue, whatever dream they want to achieve, or they want to go after, or run after, or chase after. Research what this is all about. Research the pros and the cons, which means the good and the bad. Once you have researched the good and the bad, then you would come to a place where you're able to make the best decision for yourself. And you would have in mind those things that can become struggle, or those things that can become very challenging during that time of pursuing whatever it is that you want to pursue. And so you can already start framing your mind of how to deal with whatever that thing is. And I think that would be a good course of action that you can take in whatever it is, right? Because you will not always have that crowd around you, which means you will not always have family, friends, or your supporters, or those persons who you are close with around you to cheer you on, all right, or to encourage you, which means they give you their support, they help to boost your confidence, and all that. You may not always have that around you. But in this case, Lisa, she had that. All right. And this, she got it from her parents, as in her parents were the ones to encourage her. And that's a really good thing. So, guys, type in the comment section, let me know if your parents or very close friends or relatives, if they're always there to support or to encourage you. And if it's something that you really appreciate, for me, you should really appreciate that. These days or nowadays, we do not find that a lot of persons have that support or that encouragement from their circle, because sometimes there are persons who may envy, persons who may be jealous of them, or there are persons who just they do not look out for your best interests. So they do not want to see that good thing happening to you. And so they do not lend that support to you. Right. So let me give you an example. Some time ago, there was this young lady. She really wanted to start a business. And in her pursuit to start that business, so now I'm using this word pursuit rather than pursue. Pursue is the present form of the verb. Pursuit is actually when you have it in mind to undertake. So your pursuit would be like you actually having that zeal to go after that thing. And so, in you having the zeal to go after whatever it is that you would just undertake it. So, in her pursuit to start her own business, to become an entrepreneur, she seek the help of her parents, and the parents, they turn her away because they did not believe in her. Her parents thought that she would not be able to really undertake this venture, and so they turned her away. However, what happened is later on in life, she went to someone, uh, a stranger. Somebody actually recommended that stranger to her. She went to the stranger for that help. That stranger loaned her the money, as in the stranger lent her the money, and she was able to start the business. However, the stranger loaned her the money by saying to her that she would have to repay using installments. So she would repay a certain amount monthly, and also she would repay a percentage of it, 10% of it, as in to allow him to gain some profit for the money that he had lent. And she really didn't have a problem with that, and so she did just that. She took the money, she started her business, she paid the stranger back in installments, and she also paid him uh, the extra, which was for him to have a benefit from lending her the money. And after a time, she was able to pay all the money. I think was after a year and a half. And then her business was flourishing, which means her business was doing so well. And she is now one of the top entrepreneurs in that field. And who would have thought that that would have happened? Her parents didn't believe in her. No one believed in her, but she believed in herself. So sometimes you have to be the one to build up the courage for yourself. All right. Sometimes no one is going to build up that courage for you. You have to be that one to build it up for yourself. All right. So we're going to be continuing here now, and we are going to learn about Lisa's friend from a next part of the world. So we learned that in Lisa's part of the world, which she's in the western part of the world, we learned that the culture there is to speak your mind, to be very candid, and to be able to make your own decisions, to go after or chase whatever dreams you have, to go right after them. And sometimes having this attitude of speaking your mind, and speaking your mind would allow you to make your own decisions and go after your dreams without anyone even supporting you. You may have to be the person that is alone um, in doing all this, because sometimes you may not get the support. So that's what Lisa's culture is like. And Lisa is from the Western world. So if you live in the Western world, comment and let us know if that's the same culture that you have in the Western world. Hi, Smarity. How are you doing, Smarity? Tell us where you're from. Good to have you. Good evening. For me, it's morning, but it's good to hear that you have evening. How is your evening going? Thank you so much for being here, Smarity. And if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. It's such a pleasure having you here. You have a lovely name. Thank you. All right. So, are you from the Western world or from the Eastern world, Smarity? Let us know. We would be uh, so appreciative of that, to know which side of the world you're from. I guess you're from the Eastern side, since you have evening time. Is it the Eastern time, the Western, sorry, the Eastern side of the world you're from? Because I'm from the Western side and I have morning. So let me know where you're from. Oh, you're from India. Thank you so much for being here, Smerity, from India. We also have Sassy. Sassy is always here with us too. She's from India, but I have not seen her today, but she's always here. So thank you so much for being here from India. How is India today? How is India today? Let us know how is India. So you're from the eastern side of the world. We are so happy to have persons from the eastern side. So I guess the next side of the story is the one that you might be able to relate to, because this side of the story is now about the eastern side of the story where you're from. So if you're able to relate to that, please let us know in the comments, okay, Smarity? And if at any point you guys want to come up and talk, you guys are free to do so, because I also include free chat. That's where you are able to come up on screen and talk. You do not have to show your camera. You can just come with your audio so you can practice whether reading, or you can free talk on the topics that we are talking about. Okay? So that would be nice to have you guys on screen. So now we are going to talk about the Eastern side, the Eastern culture. We learned about the Western culture, Lisa's Western culture, where they speak their mind, and in speaking their mind, they are able to make their own decisions and also go after their dreams. So here they can make their own choices and go after their dreams in whatever they want to do. And sometimes they would be alone in that. They would not have their support team or their family or their friends with them. And in their Western culture, a lot of parents would encourage their children to do this. Just like at school, your teachers would also encourage you to do this, because this is their way of life. This is our way of life. All right. So now we are going to learn about the Eastern culture where this is concerned. So let's go ahead and learn about the Eastern culture where this is concerned. At this point, we are going to read. However, we are also going to be doing the phonemical awareness. That is where we look at the words, parts of the words, to be able to call any word. All right. So let's go ahead. AU in this word says or, and the GH is silent. We have learned about GH that when it begins a word, it can make the sound where the G make the sound and the H stays silent. For example, in the word ghost, we have learned about GN where the G would stay silent and the N would make the sound. So we hear n, at, nath, and a nath is actually fly that has two legs, a very small fly. You would call it a gnat. A ghost is actually what Eastern people, a lot of Eastern people would term as a duppy or as a jumbie. They would call it that in the in the Western world. That's what they would call it, jumbie or duppy. And the ghost is actually believed to be a dead person that would appear and itself among the living people. So you'll see an image, and this image would be like this pale image or this transparent form type of image. And I believe that spirit would visit the persons who are living. And oftentimes they believe it would be their ancestors. So our word here now is or taught. Taught. What does it mean when we use the word taught? So this word, I have to do a bit of debunking with this word. So this word taught is the past tense for the word teach. So this word means the same as teach. Presently, I am teaching you. My students from last year at the school that I teach, I would say that I taught them, okay, because that has already passed. But right now I am teaching, okay? or right now I teach. So the word taught would mean the same as teach, would mean that you impart knowledge, okay, or you instruct someone on how to do something, how to go through a whole process, or how to learn, or how to understand something. So we can say that we educate someone when we use this word. Okay. However, I know this word, you may think of it too. So I'm writing it on the screen, taught. This word taught, this one is actually the past tense for the word think. It's the past tense for the word think. So you have to be familiar with both words to know the difference between the meaning. All right, be familiar with both words to know the difference between the meaning. So this one would actually mean when you consider something at a deeper level, you would say or use this one to say that you think. When you consider something at a deeper level, you would use this to say that you think. Or when you come up with your own ideas or your own opinions, you would say that you think. And in saying that you think, you would think in the present, but in the past, you would say that you taught. You taught. All right. So that's the difference between them. Yes, very good, Smriti. I am being taught right now. Very good. That's a good one. Right? Very good. That's a good one. That's very good. So it seems as though you understand the context of using it. I love that. That's good. All right. And then you see, we now have the word think. We now have the word think, and I already give you the meaning for the word think. That's when you consider something at a deeper level, or when you come up with your own opinions or your ideas about something in your mind, you would say that you think. And oftentimes, our thinking process would be like a sudden process. So it would happen suddenly. So someone would just say something to us, and we're able to just start thinking of it suddenly without any barriers, because that's how our minds work. Our next word that we're going to take a look at is the word gr, gr, and then we hear oo, the OU making the sound oo, and so we hear group, group. Remember, or you can say ow in some words, and it can say ooh in some words. So you have to learn those where it says ooh and those where it says ow. So a group would be when you have, uh, oftentimes it would be promoted as four or more persons together. Some persons would say when you have three or more persons together that are working for a common goal, or they are located in the same place, where you're able to categorize them, put them in one class or one set. And this may be because of their interests or because of their belief, for many different reasons. People can come together to form a unit. And so whenever they come together to form a unit, we'll say that it is a group once you have three or more persons together. Our next word, first. First. What does it mean to be first? When you're first, it simply means that you come before everything else. All right. When you're first, you come before everything else. So first would be like number one. If you are positioning um, the the word first, you would say that it's number one. Our next word, fam, a, the short I sound l, ill, and then we hear the Y at the end says li. We put it together, fam, ill, e, family, family. Who's your family? A family is a group of people who would work and live and share together. A family can be formed by blood or otherwise by adoption or by marriage, we can have a family that is formed. Our next word is ku, as. The two S makes one sound. So we have the word class. Then we have another separate word, it. The E at the end is silent, and so it gives power to the vowel that comes before to call its name. Remember, it's not always that the vowel that comes before would make a long song where it calls its name. Sometimes it would make a short song. That's where it can say ah instead of a. If it's an I, the I can say e instead of saying I. If it's an E, the E can say instead of saying E. So be very careful with that. Or we can see the small word eat, like the past tense for eat. So we can say eat, mate. Now we put the two words together, class, mate. Then we add the S sound. So we'll hear classmates, classmates, classmates. Very good. So your classmate is actually someone who is in that same group with you, learning along with you. You would call that person your classmate. And I'm sure that you have had some good classmates, while you may have had some bad ones, right? Everybody's not the same. And so you may find good ones or bad ones. So someone who is in that group with you in a school, a university, or college, where you're learning together, you would call them your classmates. And our final word in the set that we're going to look at is this word k, come. The two M make the same sound, so we just put them as one, come. The U makes the song you. N. The I here makes a short song, it, community. And then we hear the Y at the end make a E sound. Remember, longer words, the Y at the end would make the E sound. Shorter words, the Y at the end would make the I sound. Okay. So this is a word by itself. It says it, unit. So unit is also a word. And then we add the Y, we have E, unity, unity. The word unity is when you have a togetherness, when you have people coming or joining together. And these people, they may join together for a specific purpose. Whatever the purpose is, whether it's for sports, it's um, for maybe some sort of promotion, whatever it is. It may be something political. You would say that they have unity, or that they are united. You can also use the word united. So when you have that oneness among many people together, you would say that you have unity or that togetherness. Everything is done in an orderly and good fashion. Unity. All right. So we put the two parts together. We have the word community. Community. What is a community? A community is actually when you have a group of people that are located in the same area, they live in the same area or dwell in the same area. And these people, they would be bonded by maybe the same accent, the same language, the same way of life or customs or belief or culture or traditions. You would say that they are a community. So you have your family, then you would have your community. So in your house would be your family, and outside of your house, those persons that live around you, your neighbor, you all would come together to form what you call a community. All right, guys. So do you understand the difference between your family and the community? I hope you do. Now we are going to be reading through the text because we want to make sure that we can read it fluently. So we're going to call the words that we just did a while ago: taught, taught, think, think, group, group, family, family, first, first, classmates, classmates, community, community, community. If you were able to call all those words, you did a good job. Thumbs up. And please don't forget, guys, to try to remember what each word means. We love when you can remember the vocabulary because that would help you to understand the story. So now let's take a read through the story. Z was taught to think about the group first. That is her family, her classmates, and her community. Let's read it one more time. We want to ensure that you can read through it fluently. Z was taught to think about the group first. That is her family, her classmates, and her community. Were you able to do that? Let us know. Let's take it to the comment section. Let me know, those of you who live in the Eastern world, those of you who live in places like Asia and those places. Is this true? Is this a part of your culture? Go ahead, type in the comment section. I'm going to come to the comment section now. Let's see if this is all true. We want to know. All right. So we see Smriti. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for engaging. We love that. Smriti says, thought is the past form of think. Yeah, very good. Very good. Yes, it is a past form of think. So it's for you to know that they both are pronounced the same, as in they sound the same. However, they have two separate meanings. Uh, and for you to always look at their spelling. Thought as in think, always remember it's OUGH. Taught as in teach, that is AUGH. So one of the things that I want you to do is to practice the pronunciations with them. All right. Uh, our next comment here from Smarity. We respect our teachers a lot in Eastern area. Ah, that's so cool. You know, back here in the Western world, there are kids who are very small, let's say at their tender age, sometimes at the age of 7 years old, who do not respect their teachers. They would say ill things to their teachers. They would also do a lot of things that are against the rules that their teachers have made. And so we would say that they do not respect their teachers. So we have a lot of that here in the Western world. Smarity says she loves her family. That's good. I love that. That is so cute. I think back here in the Western world, a lot of persons love their families. However, when their family relationships gets very complex or hard, they would separate themselves from their families sometimes. There are those who would deal with the complexities of their family relationship or the hard parts of their family relationship, while there are those who would just take away themselves from their families. Like they would go on their own to rent their own place to live, and they would do that at a very early age. You know, persons in our community, once they get to the age of 18 years old, where they are legal by the law, or persons like, for example, in some places, it can be like 21. Once they get to that age, they would move out on their own by renting apartments and these things so that they can live by themselves. And I think parents do encourage it too, because parents do not want to have the burden of their children a lot of times once they have reached the adult age, because a lot of the children, they would want to have their own way or to do things their way, and a lot of parents, they cannot tolerate that. So because they cannot tolerate that, they would be very much encouraging and okay with them leaving home at early ages. So that's one thing about the Western world that you should know. All right. So thank you so much for those inputs. We appreciate them very much. And we do have a lot of Indians in our culture these days. Yeah, so we get to see how they live too. You find a lot of the times the Indians would live together, um, like in one community by themselves, while for us, the Western people, we are gonna branch off. Sometimes we go very far from our hometown to live, but the Indians would live within their hometowns and so on. So I think it's a very different culture for us. Smarity says, could you please tell me when do you come live on YouTube? Okay, so Smarity, I come live on YouTube most of the times. Uh, I'm gonna give you Eastern Caribbean, Eastern time or Atlantic Standard Time. So in Atlantic Standard Time, a lot of the times I am here between 8:30 to like 12 o'clock, depending on the time that I have to spare. Sometimes I would just only stay like between 8:30 to 11 o'clock or to 10 o'clock. Sometimes it depends, different days, different times. But that's the time that I would come live. In the morning and in the evening time, I would be live too. So I would do one session in the morning and one in the evening. Evening time, I would be live at about 7 o'clock to like 9 o'clock most times. So anytime around that time, that's when I would come live, mornings and evenings. It's basically the same time, 8 a.m. Uh, between 8 a.m. to like 11 o'clock on mornings, and it's the same thing for the evening, 8 a.m., 8 p.m., sorry. And these times are Atlantic Standard Time. Let's see what Smerity, we love you. You're commenting a lot. I'm so sorry I'm not hearing from Sassy today. Sassy, are you there? But Sassy's also from India and she's really nice. Smerity says yes, utmost in village of India, they don't separate from family. Oh, so that is the utmost thing, the most important thing in India, that they do not separate from their villages or from their families. That's very cool. I love that. And you can see that in the Indians who have traveled to the western side of the world, they still maintain that style of living where they would sometimes all live together in a big house together, or they would live in close approximation to each other. So that's a really, really good thing. I love that. And I think a lot of Western families are trying to change their mindset on the way that they live. So you would find some variation these days with the Western world, because some persons, they are really trying to be more family oriented, and so in that way they are trying to ensure that their priorities surround family these days. Smarity also says, yes, you're invited at my home for a cup of tea when you will visit India. All right, so yes, you're invited at my home for a cup of tea when you visit India. All right, yeah, Smarity, that's so cool. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for that. I would love that. I would really love to visit India. My brother, he was in Taiwan last year and he visited India and he spoke a lot of good things about India, about its culture and all that. I think it was a cultural exchange session he went there for in India, and he really had a really good time. And I was so elated for him that he was able to experience that new culture. Well, at least he was able to experience two cultures in the Asian world. He was able to experience the Taiwanese culture for 7 years, and he also experienced the Indian culture for the short week that he visited. So that was really nice. Wow, you're gonna invite me for dinner as well. Smerity, I appreciate that so much. That sounds really interesting. I would love that, Smerity. I think For you to invite someone at your home, it has to be that you appreciate that person. And for me, I do not take that lightly. I take that as something very important, Smerity. So I would say thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right. For somebody to invite you at their home, a lot of times it has to be that they are fond of you or that they appreciate you to invite you into their home. And even for she's saying here not just for dinner but also for um not just for tea but also for dinner. And you know dinner takes a longer time than tea, so it means that she has to have some level of appreciation. Thank you, Smerity. That is so nice of you. I appreciate that. All right, guys, let's see you get active in the comment section. And guys, remember, if you want to come up and chat, just alert me in the comments because I would have to change the screen setting for you to be on. But the link is already in the comment section at the top of the comment section. You would see the link there that you can click on to enter into the session. You do not have to show your camera, you can just use your voice, and we would appreciate you being here. All right. If there's anything that you wish to talk about based on what we have been talking about in terms of the differences in cultures, we would appreciate your opinions. We would appreciate hearing from you because I know that you would have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the different cultures, especially those of you who are from a completely different culture to mine. I am in the Western culture and you are maybe in the Eastern or Northern or Southern culture. And so you would be able to talk a lot about whatever culture you're in. And this would be something that I would not take from you because I know for a fact that you're the one experiencing it. And so, because you're the one that grew up in that culture, or you're the one who have the experience in the culture, you will be able to talk a lot about it. So I'm not going to take that for granted. I'm just going to appreciate it. So thank you guys. So guys, what else do you want to share about how the two cultures are different? So you can share other things about your Western culture, and I can share about about your Eastern culture, and I can share about my Western culture, how we are different, right? So we're gonna just read back from Lisa's culture, and then we're going to read on to Z's culture. Then we are going to take on some new information about their culture, both culture, some other informations that we may not know. And really doing this aspect of culture, it is helping me a lot to understand how their culture is different to ours. But I'm sure there are some similarities that we might be able to come to, or some things that are alike in the end, right? So, despite we being different, we may be able to come to some things that might be different. So, what we're going to do, we're going to start from the top of the reading so that everyone would understand what we are reading about. And words that you were not here to grasp in our previous sessions, you'll be able to grasp those words. So let's begin. Many moons ago, there were two chummy friends, Lisa and Z, who lived in different parts of the world. Lisa was from the North American continent, where she resides in a colossal city of the United States, while Z was born and raised in Asia, where he lived in a small town in Japan. Let's keep going. Despite they were from two different worlds or cultures, they enjoyed sharing stories about their lives. In the United States, where Lisa is from, the people often value personal freedom and independence, and so Lisa's world was fast paced and self centered, in contrast to Z's life on the other side of the globe in Japan, where the expected way of life of the people are to value respect, family, and community to create harmony. Lisa's parents always encouraged her to speak her mind, make her own decisions, and pursue her dreams, even if it meant standing out from the crowd. Z was taught to think about the group first, that is, her family, her classmates, and her community. All right. So let us know how you feel about reading through all that. So by now, you should have an understanding of what we are reading about. Z is in Japan, and Lisa is in the United States of America. And here we are seeing that they have two different cultures, yet they are able to come together to talk about their culture, despite their culture or notwithstanding that their culture is not the same. And here, this story is showing us that even if you are from a different background compared to another person, you would be able to talk to that person or to be friends with that person, even if you are from a different background. And that is why a lot of English learners, they try to learn English so that they can communicate with persons from English speaking countries, because in they communicating with these persons from English speaking countries, they would get to learn how to speak the language practically. The language is so much different, speaking it practically, as in for an everyday English user, compared to somebody who is learning the language who has not had that language as their first language. It's going to sound, you're going to put the words in ways that native speakers will not put them, right? Sometimes they may not be wrong. However, the way that they're written, they can be interpreted or understood in a different way. And also, the context, it is not the everyday context for an English speaker. So that's one of the things that you have to be very mindful of when learning English. You want to ensure that you also learn how to speak the language in terms of uh, using it the way that the native speakers would. All right. So let's also look for words here that we are not familiar with. And guys, for every improvement that you spot in yourself, give yourself a thumbs up, okay? Do not in any way not give yourself a thumbs up. Do not think because, hey, I do not fully master it, I should not give myself a thumbs up. For every little improvement, give yourself a thumbs up. All right? It means that you have done a good job. All right? Little by little, it will become well. Little by little, it's going to be enough. All right? So there's a saying in English where we say, we put little by little, and at the end, we can have a whole just from doing little by little. Okay, so let's look at words that you may call incorrectly. This is a word that learners of English may call incorrectly. And the reason why is because the CH makes a k sound here rather than the most popular song that you hear, ch. Instead, it makes a song like K. So we hear k. So the word here is k. And the two O's make the sound oo. Then we hear l. Put it all together, we have sk, oo, school. And you know what a school is. A school is a place where learning takes place. All right. It's not just a building, it's a place where learning takes place. And at a school, we would have st, oo, d, and n. So we hear st, U, D, Ent. Student, student. And then we hear, by adding the S, we hear students, students. So our word there is students. And students are actually the persons who are learning. So you are currently a student if you're listening to this live because you are learning. So you'll be a student. Our next word, expect. So this part of the word is expect, and then the ed makes the sound id. So we hear expected. Expected. When you say something is expected, it means that this thing is likely to happen. It means that this thing will most likely happen. Okay? So if you expect something, you're saying that this thing most likely will happen, or this thing most likely will come true. So what do you expect to happen tomorrow? Do you expect something tomorrow? Is there something that you're looking forward for to happen? Or expect can also mean something that you're looking forward for or looking forward to. So when you use that word, know it's something that you're looking forward to or something that you're looking forward for. All right. So tell me something that you might be expecting in the near future. Is there something you want to tell us that you would expect in the near future? Tell us, guys. Go ahead and tell us. All right. Go ahead and tell us. Is there anything, any particular thing? It doesn't matter what it is. What do you expect? Do you expect a weather system? It can be anything. Go ahead and tell us what you're expecting. Like some parts of the Western world is experiencing, is expecting, which means most likely, or looking forward to some unstable weather. And this unstable weather would be like a tropical storm. So we are expecting that, or we expect a tropical storm. We can say that here. So go ahead, guys. Tell us what you are expecting. Is there anything? All right. So I'm not seeing any comments. So we're going to move on from that one. All right. All right. Sorry. Let's keep going. So our next word is this word. So we have lis. The T silent in this word. We hear the EN says N, like in the word 10. So we'll say listen, listen, listen. The T, we do not hear the sound for the T. However, when you're spelling, always remember that the T sound is present, okay? When you're spelling, make sure that the T sound is present. All right. But when you're pronouncing, the T is silent. So we hear lis and N, listen. What does it mean to listen to something? So when you listen something, it simply means that you are hearing that thing. And as you hear that thing, you are able to give more attention to it, or you're able to pay attention to it, right? So you concentrate on it. To listen would mean that you pay attention to it, you concentrate on it. You're not just hearing it. like it's just going, and you not paying it any mind. But to really listen would mean that you have that focus. Then our next word, we have k, A-R-E-A, care. That word is care. And then f, o. The Y at the end makes an E sound. So we have fully. So our word here is carefully, carefully, carefully. When you do something carefully, what does that mean? When you do something carefully, what does that mean? It simply means that you make sure that you try your best to be very cautious at what you're doing. So you give it great attention, you pay attention to all the details or safety rules and all that to ensure that this thing is done without causing any harm or without any sort of mistakes in it. So that would mean that you did it carefully. All right. Our next word, we have t. The E and A says E. The E make the sound, the A stays silent. Then we have ch. This is the most common pronunciation for CH. Ch. So we have teach and Then we add S. Teacher. Then we add S. Teachers. Teachers. So teacher is one, but teachers is more than one. Teacher is one, but teachers is more than one. All right. And teachers, those are the persons that would impart our knowledge. So persons who impart knowledge, those are whom we would call teachers. Okay. And currently, I'm acting in that role as your teacher. So I'm one, but if it's more than one, then that's when you'll say teachers. All right. Our next word that we're going to take a look at is this word in to inter. Then we have r, the small word up, rupt. So we have inter and up, interrupt. That's our root word, interrupt. We add ing, we hear ing, interrupting, interrupting. What does the word interrupt mean? When somebody interrupts you. So you can be speaking and somebody come at the same time and they say something to you to stop you from talking. You can say that that person interrupt you. So what does it mean to interrupt something? When you interrupt something, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Is it positive or is it negative? Let me know. So let me know what your thoughts are. So when you interrupt something, it means that you stop something, okay? Or you cut it, you cause that thing to have a break. You would say that you interrupted, okay? So there are things that you have interrupted before. And a lot of times we use interrupt in terms of speaking or when something really stop what we're doing, we would say that it interrupts us, right? So it may hinder us, or it may break us, or it may interfere with what is happening. And so we would say that it interrupts us. Our next word is the word f. The O makes a long sound, so we hear O, k, for k, and then us, the small word us. When we put this together, we have the word us, focus. And then we add the ed sound. The ed sound, we're going to hear focused. Sorry, because the word ends with a S sound. So when it ends with a soft song or a unvoiced song like S or X or CH and those sounds, then you'll use a T sound for the ED. So this way we hear focused, focused. What does it mean to be focused? So to be focused would mean that you are concentrating or that you are more or less paying attention to something. That's what it means to be focused. Like right now, you may be focused on what is happening here on the screen by paying attention to it, close attention, or by concentrating on it. And so we can say that you are focused, right? So whatever you give your attention to, you would say that you focus on it. Our next word here should be very easy because we are going to use the E sound for E and the E at the end silent. So we hear T, im, team, and then W, k, work. So we put them together, we have teamwork. And those are two separate words. However, teamwork, when they become a compound word, which means two words making a new word, they would mean that there is a team that is together and they are working along together. So basically, that is where they work together to achieve whatever goal that they want to achieve. All right. So I'm sure that you would have had to be a part of some teamwork at one point or the other in your journey through school or maybe at home or maybe in a group. You may have done some work together with other persons and you did it with the hope that you would both all be successful together when each of you put your energy into it or your effort, that it would bring you some sort of success. And that is what we call teamwork. We come back to this word group. And remember, we said a group is when you have more than three persons together, and these persons are working towards the same goal or the same task or to achieve the same thing. And we have work. We can see the same word in teamwork. So that's a word that you would know by now. And group work would be the same like teamwork. That's where you come together to work in a group. And when you work in a group, you're able to put in your efforts. So every individual effort would help to make a collective effort or a oneness. It would be actually come together to create a oneness or a cohesion. Our next word is k or and then o and then we hear a. Anytime a come before shun, we hear a, and then the ti makes a sound like sh, so we hear sh and on. So a shun. Just like the si in decision make the sh sound, same for ti before the on, it makes that sh sound too. So we hear sh. So we hear a shun. So our word here is ko or p. p. So we have p. So cooperation, cooperation, cooperation. Our word is cooperation. So when you cooperate or when you have cooperation, it means that you are able to work in an orderly fashion. When you work in an orderly fashion, you would say that you cooperated or that you had cooperation. All right. So we hear cooperation, cooperation. All right. Cooperation, cooperation. And this word, it is, so the British would say cooperation, cooperation. I need to really do it that way for you. So we hear cooperation, while the Americans would say cooperation, cooperation. Okay, so British would say cooperation. Americans would say cooperation. Cooperation. So you'll hear up song for the O song. I think that's the difference between both of them. Cooperation. Cooperation. Our next word here is E, the E making a long song E. Then we hear N, isen, and the TI makes the sh sound just like it did in cooperation and al. So we hear isen, and shall, al, essential. When something is essential, what does that mean? What have you done that was essential? When something is essential, it simply means that this thing is very important. It is extremely important. It is like something that you cannot do without. All right? Essential. Essential. And our last word, well, we're going to look at this word, th. We have d, the th making the d sound. Then we have eir saying air in this word. So d, air, there. And this there refer to people, like a group of people. You would refer to them as their. When they own something, you or something belong to them, you would refer to it as their. Okay. Our final word is l, the e a r, the a silent. You hear the er say n, so learn, and the ing makes the song ing, learning, learning. What does it mean to learn? So to learn, that is actually where you gain knowledge. That is where you get to know different things. By learning, you get to know different things. So that's where you gain knowledge or skills. That's where you're able to study new knowledge or skills, or that's where you are being taught. All right. So we have just done a lot of words there, and we're just going to check your memory to see how well you remember the words. We hope that you would remember the vocabulary, especially for the words too, because vocabulary is very important. Let's say the words now: school, students, expected, expected, listen, listen, carefully, carefully, teachers, teachers, interrupting, interrupting, focused, focused, teamwork, teamwork, group, group, cooperation, 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 cooperation. And remember, this pronunciation is different for both British and Americans. The British would say cooperation, cooperation, and the Americans would say cooperation, 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 cooperation. Guys, it sounds different. Essential, essential. And our final word is learning, learning. And we did it there as an extra word because there are persons who are learning English who still are unfamiliar with that word dear. And that's why I choose to cover it. All right. So, guys, I hope that you're now able to call all these words. What we are going to do now is that we are going to read through that part of the text. All right, let's read through the text. Let's go. In this school, students were expected to listen carefully to their teachers without interrupting. These teachers often focused on teamwork as group work and cooperation were were essential parts of their learning. And remember, just like I did a while ago, you can see some words and you can call them incorrectly. So you need to be attentive with the words, especially English words, because sometimes they look like other words that you're familiar with. I know how that can be. Does that happen to you? Let me know. Tell me. All right, guys. So let's read through two more times to make sure that we have this together. And we're going to improve our rate in terms of the speed that we are reading with. In Z's school, students were expected to listen carefully to their teachers without interrupting. C's teachers often focused on teamwork as group work and cooperation were essential parts of their learning. Let's read it again. In Z's school, students were expected to listen carefully to their teachers without interrupting. Z's teachers often focused on teamwork as group work and cooperation were essential parts of their learning. Let's keep reading one more time. In C school, students were expected to listen carefully to their teachers without interrupting. C's teachers often focused on teamwork as group work and cooperation were essential parts of their learning. If you were able to master that, then you did an awesome job. Let's go ahead and read it one more time. In Z school, students were expected to listen carefully to their teachers without interrupting. These teachers often focused on teamwork as group work and cooperation were essential parts of their learning. So, do you notice that there's always a gap when I'm reading when I reach the word were? And that's because sometimes I mistaken the word were for the word where. So, that's why I always have a gap there. Let's read it one more time. In Z's school, students were expected to listen carefully to their teachers without interrupting. C's teachers often focused on teamwork as group work and cooperation were essential parts of their learning. If you have all that together, give yourself a tap, guys, because you deserve it. You deserve a tap. Tap yourself, guys. Tap, tap, tap. You deserve it. Let's do it one more time. In Z school, students were expected to listen carefully to their teachers without interrupting. These teachers often focused on teamwork as group work and cooperation were essential parts of their learning. So, guys, Z school is in Japan. Z lives in the eastern side of the world, and his school principles or his school rules, they were embedded in students being careful listeners. And so they would not interrupt their teacher while their teacher is teaching, and also in them really doing a lot of teamwork or group work together so that they can work in harmony, they can cooperate with one another. And so this teaches them how to operate in their own societies to ensure that they become cooperative individuals or citizens of their world. And this is such a good principle. If all of us could apply that to our life, and if the Western world apply more of this, I think that our societies would be more harmonious like the Western societies. So I think that's one of the things that we can really look into the Eastern society to practice here in the Western world. Guys, we'll have a further discussion on this when we meet again in the next 7 hours. No, not 7 hours, in the next 6 hours and some. I want to thank you so much for being here today to learn English. It is such a pleasure having you. And I would encourage you to go back to the video if you have just joined to learn the vocabulary aspects of the story of those words that we were covering today. And I hope that you would just improve your English as much as you can. Keep practicing, guys. And I hope that I'll see you in the next few hours by the grace of God. Keep good, guys, and keep blooming in English and also, in everything else that you do. Thank you so much for being here and for learning English with me. Keep practicing how to read in English.